Hi, I'm KG Stiles with your Astro Highlights brought to you by PurePlantEssentials.com Organic Aromatherapy. Today is July 7th, 2010. The Sun is in nurturing Cancer and the Moon is in grounded Taurus. I'm being joined by celebrity astrologer Neil D. Paris of NewWorldAstrology.com. Hi, Neil.
Hi, KG.
Since the first grand cross in the heavens that was activated by a full moon lunar eclipse in Capricorn on Saturday, June 26th, we've been steadily moving towards a solar eclipse that will occur this Sunday at 12:40 p.m. Pacific time, when the Sun and Moon will be exactly conjunct at 19 degrees Cancer. What are the astrological implications of this solar eclipse, Neil? What do we do with this eclipse? Where do we go from here?
Okay, so the solar eclipse is falling on July 11th in the sign of Cancer. We just of there's a couple of eclipses this summer. We had a lunar eclipse a couple of weeks ago in Capricorn, and that was bringing up a lot of information about what's not working for us. A lot of the dark stuff seeping up for us in society. We're looking at the TV screen, seeing it coming through the news, the media, and now personal lives too. We're seeing the things that are coming up, but they're not quite working. We'll call it the dark stuff, the shadow stuff that we don't like to look at, but it's the things that are controlling us behind the scenes, things in our lives that are not ultimately working for the good of all as a whole, as humanity as a whole. Now, this solar eclipse will give us a chance on July 11th. Solar eclipses are like powerful new moons, and in astrology, we get a chance to plant a new seed energetically. So it's not all about endings, it's not all about all this disaster, all these terrible things happening in the world. Solar eclipses give us a chance to say, okay, stuff's come up, what am I going to do now? So this is our wish planting seed time. If all this muck's can come up, like the volcano, there's been an explosion, things are coming up in our personal lives that we don't quite like. Now, say, what soil do I want to get planted in? So that's the question to ask yourself now. You want a new home, you want a better life for yourself and as a whole. What can you do individually in your life to perfect your life, to make it work better for you, which automatically will help the whole? So it's time for a new home. What new soil can you get planted in? What new habits can you instill inside of your life right now to start improving your personal experience while you're on the planet? That's the synopsis for this.
So where, if people will look in their own personal astrology chart where Cancer is located, this new moon, this solar eclipse is happening, is that the area that's best for them to plant these new seeds of intention you're talking about?
Exactly. There's 12 houses of the astrology chart, and whichever house this eclipse falls in for you, this will be a chance for you to have a new beginning, especially emotionally. It's in the sign of Cancer, which relates to home, nurturing. That's where you have to look after yourself. You have to mother yourself better in that area of your life. You need to find home in that area of your life. So get more comfortable there. Look after yourself there. Provide for yourself there. And what you'll find is the more you can provide for yourself in that area of your life, you'll become the provider for other people in that area. So you become one of the nurturers on the planet. And the more, I think that a lot of people are in a state of chaos right now. Things are coming up they're not comfortable with. That's why we need grounding. So if you can find grounding, and it starts with acting on your feelings. Intuition is really surging up for everybody right now based on how you feel. If you're disconnected from your feelings, you'll find this period tricky because you can't get grounded unless you know what's coming up emotionally. So your emotional body is being jarred a little bit by this eclipse. The light goes out temporarily, symbolically. We get to see ourselves and get to see where we are when the light comes back on energetically. We're not going to get to see this eclipse. It's more symbolic, but in it, which chart this eclipse falls, is really saying to us it's time to get more grounded and find home and make peace and make home with where this eclipse falls for each of us.
Yes. So how does the planet Uranus, which moved retrograde this past Monday, how does that figure into the astrological setup with this solar eclipse, Neil?
Well, the Uranus right now is at 0 degrees Aries, which is a very, very public part of the chart, the Aries plane. It's the very beginning of the entire zodiac. Uranus relates to breaking free, freedom, liberation. So that's it's going to start moving back into the sign Pisces, which is the last sign of the zodiac. So we're not finished with this transition. We're getting a chance to shake things up. The dust's getting shaken up in the world with all these things that, again, we're seeing what's not working for us. We get a chance to cleanse. Uranus is moving out of Aries back into Pisces. We get a chance to cleanse things from our lives again that really are not working. The last sign of the zodiac. So with the way it plays into this planetary eclipse is you get a chance to see this ultimately it's finding independence. It's finding freedom of
Yes.
spirit, for getting a chance to really become who we came here to be.
Yes.
So you have a choice. Do you keep dragging the chains of the past around? That's the Cancer energy. That's the solar eclipse in the sign of Cancer, which relates to our emotional past. Do you keep carrying the baggage around, things you don't need? Are you weighing your life down with things you don't need? Or can you shed them now?
Mm-hmm.
Are you addicted to holding on to things that have served you in the past but don't serve you in the present? So can you locate yourself emotionally in the present? Who are you today as opposed to who you were yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're a different person. You get a chance to celebrate that during the solar eclipse in Cancer on July 11th.
Mm-hmm. And Uranus is always related to the unexpected. So sort of expect the unexpected.
Yep, there's always a wild card. There's always a new
yes,
approach. You can always
and the
try different ways.
eclipse. You want to? I was going to mention the eclipse is, things get eclipsed. The new information comes in.
And how do you how do you move on? How do you let go of the past unless you try a different approach? If you keep doing the same things over and over and over, you'll probably get the same results. Uranus says, try a different way, try a different routine, try something different, and inject new energy into your life that will refresh your spirit if you let it.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about the solar eclipse. It will further activate this grand cross of energies that is in play this summer between Jupiter and Uranus and Pluto, and between Pluto and Saturn. So let's talk about the opportunities presented with a square, and how do we experience these energies?
I think ultimately it's about becoming more authentic inside of ourselves. I think that we can still slumber through this period, but it's going to be very difficult. Life around us is setting up the pieces where we get to see who we are. We get to see the jigsaw. You might be disconnected from the world. You might be hiding from the world. You might be a hermit in the middle of nowhere, but you will be touched by what's happening. Mm-hmm. And ultimately it's about opening up your heart energy.
Breaking you open. Yes, I see the square as being like a breaking you open.
The paradigm is shattering, this old paradigm, and I think that's why this eclipse is falling in Cancer. Ultimately now it's a perfect time, because how do we all get connected, and how do we all get affected by the news or affected what's happening around us? By our feelings. So information is coming into our lives, pouring in through events, people going through certain situations, something your friend's going through, a coworker, a boss, your family, even you personally, that's touching how we feel. Mm-hmm. And so that's why people are running away from emotional information, but don't do that. The information is coming up in our lives emotionally.
Yes.
That's what's helpful. Yes. It's helping us shift.
Resistance is futile. So it is a breaking open. It's like an adjustment. I see a square as an adjustment. It's like you need to adapt so something new can be born.
There's a tension. Work with the tension. Tension will serve you now because it shows that something needs to be adjusted.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we also have an opposition between the planet Uranus and Saturn, and the planet Uranus and Jupiter. So before the show, we were talking about oppositions as being opportunities for illumination. So it's like shining the light into these dark places.
Yeah, and the Saturn energy will help us stay grounded during the changes. You don't just throw everything out.
Oh, that's perfect. Do you have any special astrological offerings for people at this time, Neil?
I do. I have a series of solar eclipse readings that will specifically tell you where the solar eclipse falls for you. We'll look at which house it's in and what it means for you. You can go to newworldastrology.com and check that out, and order one of the specific readings that will be there at the front page.
And my recommendation to make the most of this point in the cycle leading up to the solar eclipse on Sunday is to get out in nature. Hug a tree, dip your toes into some running stream or the ocean, breathe the fresh air. The elemental energies, the fairy magic of nature will help you to clear space for the new energies being birthed at this time. Chanting and drumming can also be very helpful to ground you and help you shift and elevate your consciousness. Use aromatherapy and pure essential oils to clear and ground your energies, and I'd be happy to help you with a selection of aromatherapy. Practice mindfulness meditation to observe any uncomfortable feelings that may surface and allow yourself to experience them and pass through you. Imagine yourself, your body, mind, spirit, and emotions to be open and clear as a blue sky. I'm KG Stiles with celebrity astrologer Neil D. Paris with your Astro Highlight.